from the media, just from the media, folks.
Yeah. Why so late in the campaign when you're talking about?
It's a big province. I often say, and Jess, if I had to do it over again, I'd run in Prince Edward Island because I could be home every night for dinner. But it's a great, big, beautiful province. There are 107 ridings. And if it were physically possible, I'd be inside each and every one of those. So I'm just really pleased that I could be here with Mark and his team. And again, want to
Are you nervous about Mark McDonald's chances of winning an SDNG, given vote splitting, that the new Democratic candidate here is pretty strong?
No, I think people are understand that there's only one party that has a positive, forward-looking plan. Only one party that's committed to bringing people together. Our concern about the NDP is they want to raise taxes on our job creators by $9 billion. That's the exact wrong signal to send to the place that is the world's second most favorite place in North America to attract investment. We need that stability. And we need that predictability. And they don't want, on the other hand, on the right-hand side, excuse me, Mark, on the right-hand side, they don't want that PC party with that $14 billion hole. It's twice as big as the last PC governments. And last time, they closed 28 hospitals, they fired some 6,000 nurses.
But specifically to this riding, aren't you worried about, given the, I guess, the geometry of this riding?
No, we're very, very confident, and one of the reasons we're confident, frankly, is because Jim Brownell laid such a strong foundation of progress. We're very proud of our record when it comes to apprentices. I mean, nobody is more committed to post-secondary education, including apprenticeships, than our party. They've opposed our expansion of post-secondary education. They opposed the creation of a college of apprentices, which took apprenticeships from kind of down here and brought them up there, attached some real stature to them, gave them some real status. And now we're relying on that college with its expertise and public input to ensure that we get those ratios in the best way possible that serves the public interest. But I'm really excited about the programs that we've got in place in our high schools and through our apprenticeship programs to get more young people going into apprentices. Oui, monsieur.
Monsieur McGuinty, j'ai deux questions. Est-ce que je vous les pose du premier coup, tout ensemble, ou l'un après l'autre? La première, ça serait, les sondages prévoient donc un gouvernement minoritaire. On ne sait pas si ça va arriver, là, mais où est-ce que vous en êtes dans votre réflexion par rapport à cette question-là?
Et toujours des yeux en avant. Nous travaillons aussi fort que possible pour rencontrer un grand succès le 6 octobre avec un gouvernement fort et solide libéral. Alors, je pense à rien que ça. La deuxième question.
La deuxième question, c'est, vous faites référence à la performance de M. Ouidah quand il était ministre délégué à la Santé sous Mike Harris. C'était en 1999. Ça fait
Quelle référence, ça?
Ben, faites référence au fait que les conservateurs de Mike Harris ont fermé des hôpitaux, qu'ils ont mis à pied les infirmières. Là, vous nous dites qu'il ne serait pas la bonne personne pour défendre les intérêts de l'Ontario devant le gouvernement de Stephen Harper. Est-ce que vous n'êtes pas un peu en train d'essayer de faire peur au monde, là, ou,
Pas du tout. C'est seulement de la vérité, ça. Vous avez d'autres recommandations comme réponse? C'est son record. Nous avons bâti 18 nouveaux hôpitaux ensemble. Ils ont fermé 28. Nous avons embauché 11 500 nouvelles personnels infirmiers. Ils ont démissionné 6 000. Ils ont démissionné des inspecteurs qui sauvegardent la qualité de notre eau, et d'autres comme ça. Alors oui, je demande à la population de bien jeter un coup d'œil sur leur record en faisant face en la comparant avec notre record. Et aussi le fait que nous sommes le seul avec un plan qui a été vérifié par un économiste indépendant. Nous avons le moins de promesses. Ils ont 5 fois de plus de promesses que nous autres et ils ont un trou dans leur plan de 14 milliards de dollars.
Une dernière chose,
vous avez déjà eu 2 questions là.
Andrew Horvath today is talking about letting her intentions be known as to what she would want in the case of a minority government. I'm just wondering, are you willing to work with the NDP in a minority situation?
I'm willing to work with the people of Ontario. What I'm asking them for is a strong, solid, liberal government.
Do you feel that, after 8 years in power now, it's all going to come to the next 5 days, and that really you have to work in a minority situation given what the polls are showing right now?
Well, I've told Blake. You probably never heard of Toll Blake. He's a great hockey coach. And somebody once approached him with statistics and said to him, Coach, you don't have the depth to go all the way in the playoffs. He said, we don't play on paper, we play on ice. Right. It's not the numbers that count. It's our plan, it's our team, it's our experience, it's our record, and it's what's in the hearts of the people of Ontario. They want a party that they can count on. They want a party that's got their backs, whether it comes to their economy, their jobs, retraining, their health care, their education. We're squarely in their corner.
But it is the numbers that count, though, if you don't have a majority, if it is a minority situation. So are you prepared for that?
As captain of my team, leader of my party, I have one focus only, and that's the one: a strong Liberal government.
Library funding provisions cut by about 40%. Now, libraries meet a lot of your own economic goals, a lot of your education goals. What will you do to help libraries?
Well, we've got a plan that's in place that's going to include some continuing support for our libraries, and I think it's really important. I'll tell you one of the reasons I'm so committed to it. My dad was a university professor, and I grew up in a household with, well, probably at least 1,000 books kicking around someplace. So I had access to all kinds of books. But here's the greater concern we have in the information age, in the second decade of the 21st century. Libraries also have got great technology available, computers, and there are still some kids and some families don't have access to that. So it's not just a question of solely having access to books, but also to technology so kids can help better understand the internet and all the opportunities to be found there. So we will continue to support libraries in Ontario.
Will you stay on as leader if you end up with a minority?
Oh, we're going to win. I mean, that's just all speculation. We're going to win.
You hear a lot about all the investment that you've done in Ontario, but given the deficit, a lot of that hasn't been paid for. How scared should Ontarians be about, given that all the debt crisis that we're seeing around the world right now, in the position Ontario's in?
Well, we're in really good shape, relatively speaking. Canada is seen as very strong in the global context. And inside Canada, Ontario is seen as very strong as well. Since January, just to give you one example, since January, Ontario, with 40% of the population, has created 53% of Canada's full-time jobs. The strongest banks in the world, bar none, that's well recognized, are headquartered in Ontario, Canada. Again, we reclaimed our title as #1 producer of cars in North America. We've got the fastest growing clean energy sector in North America. We've got a plan to eliminate our debt over time, and Ontarians have confidence in that. But I'm sending them another message today. I want you to have confidence in something else. Come hell or high water, whatever the global economy sends our way, we've got your backs, we're in your corner, we've got you covered, you can count on us. I'm committed to forming a strong, Liberal majority government in Ontario. Not at all. I mean, I don't think Ontarians like being told what to do. I think Ontarians have got a mind of their own. As I said before, I've had the opportunity to work with 3 successive Canadian Prime Ministers, and I know what they expect, what they'd like to see in Ontario premiers. They'd like to see somebody who's going to stay quiet and do as he's told. That's not our style. That's not who we are. We assert ourselves. We're very proud of our province. We want to build a strong Ontario inside a strong Canada, but we're not going to shrink from standing up for a new 10-year health accord that champions Medicare, and we're not going to shrink from standing up to get support from the federal government for our clean energy sector in the same way they've been supporting the fossil fuel sector in Western Canada for 30 or 40 years.
even if the product ends up in the hands of children?
We are very concerned about illegal cigarettes ending up in the hands of children, and even legal cigarettes ending up in the hands of our children, for that matter. So we've got the toughest, as you well know, Antonio, we've got the toughest legislation of its kind when it comes to cracking down on smoking. We've reduced the incidence of smoking by some 25% here in Ontario, and our plan calls for 2 further steps going forward. One is to increase the fines on retailers who are selling cigarettes to kids, and the other aspect is to double the number of enforcement officers who are going to crack down on contraband. So that's the approach that we're bringing to cigarettes.
Monsieur McGuinty, habituellement, quand c'est un gouvernement libéral ou provincial, un gouvernement libéral ou fédéral, ça marche bien, les deux ensemble. Là, il y a un gouvernement fédéral à Ottawa, il pourrait y avoir un gouvernement conservateur aussi ici à Toronto. Là. Dites-moi pourquoi ça ne serait pas le bon fit cette fois-ci.
C'est pas une question de couleur politique. C'est une question d'avoir un leader et une partie qui est complètement fiable quand on parle des sujets qui sont importants pour notre province. Ça fait 8 ans que j'ai eu l'expérience de travailler avec les gouvernements au niveau fédéral. J'ai jamais hésité de mettre en avant les priorités de notre province, y inclut les soins de santé. Et maintenant, nous allons continuer à travailler dans un autre domaine, c'est notre secteur de l'énergie nette. Thanks everybody.